Hi, I'm Don. Welcome to the Woodsmith Shop. You know, classic pieces of furniture stand the test of time. This slant front desk, for example, was one of the original multitaskers. It has a chest of drawers down on the bottom, and then the top folds down to reveal a writing surface. Well, today, of course, it could be used to store your computer so you can check out your favorite website. Well, classic furniture deserves classic joinery, and we started by using a rabbeted miter to join the solid wood top to the solid wood sides. Then we added frames between the drawers using what's called a sliding dovetail. Next, it was onto the bracket feet down at the bottom, and there we used a little trick over at the table saw to create the cove on the front. And finally, we made the drawers using traditional dovetail joinery. Well, I'm ready to start building this classic slant front desk, so stick around for the Woodsmith Shop.
Major funding for the Woodsmith Shop has been provided by
Craig. From the first cut to the final assembly, providing woodworkers with products that help to simplify woodworking challenges. Craig.
Additional funding provided by
Powermatic, for more than 90 years, has been making woodworking machinery that is engineered to perform. Powermatic, the gold standard since 1921.
And by Old Masters, a legacy of craftsman quality stains and finishes.
You know, Brian, like most classic pieces of furniture, this desk is built with solid wood panels for the top and the sides and even the slant front. But solid wood can present some problems for both design and construction.
Right. I mean, the main consideration with any solid wood panel is expansion and contraction due to changes in humidity. So you need to take that into account, especially these frames here that support the drawers and where they connect to the sides. You need to allow for that movement.
Right, and even here at the corners, we had to allow for the end grain when we're joining these panels together.
Right, now these panels are fairly wide, especially the side panels, so you're not likely to find a single board that wide. You're going to have to glue things up to get a good panel.
In fact, it's probably better to glue up panels this wide. It'll actually turn out to be flatter and more stable. Well, the other thing you need is a good set of plans. And if you'd like a complete set of free step-by-step plans from the editors of Woodsmith Magazine, just go to our website, woodsmithshop.com. You know, I was looking at these plans. This is a big project, 18 pages of plans on this. This is a lot of information.
All the details are covered, but it all starts with the solid wood panels for the sides and the top. You need to head to the shop and get started.
All right, I'll get to work. Well, this desk is a big project that starts out with some big solid wood panels for the sides and then the top of the case. Well, we wanted to use cherry wood for this project. And the key thing with cherry is to get a good color match for each of the boards, particularly along the joint line. So I chose all the boards carefully, glued them together, and then planed and sanded all that smooth. Well, once I had the big panels, then I needed to join the sides to the top of the cabinet, and without having any end grain, particularly right along this joint line at the corner. Well, typically when you're joining large solid wood panels, you could use what's called a butt joint. But in this case, you get a lot of end grain showing, and that's what we did not want. So we switched to another joint called a miter, and that gets rid of all the end grain and gives you a nice, clean joint line. The problem with a straight miter joint is that when you add glue and then clamps, it can slide all around on you, and that's a mess during assembly, particularly with big, large panels. So instead, we switched to a modification of that joint, and in this case, it's called a rabbeted miter joint. It has a rabbet on one side and a shoulder on the other, and then when these two are joined together, they lock so that they hold steady during the gluing and clamping process. Well, how do I cut a miter with a rabbet on large panels like this? Over at the table saw. Well, all of this joinery starts by making a simple shallow kerf along the ends of all the panels. Now to do that, I've mounted a rip blade in the saw. That'll give me a nice flat bottom kerf, and adjusted the fence to guide the end of the panel. Now these panels are so large that I also added an outrigger support here. Then I push the end of the panel up against the fence and make the cut. After cutting the kerfs on the ends of all the panels, the next step is to make this miter cut. Now, how in the world am I going to make a miter cut on these large panels? Well, the solution is kind of simple. I'm just going to add a rub strip on the panels. To do that, I put down double-sided tape and then press the rub strip in place. Then I've switched to a cross-cut blade and angled it at 45 degrees. Now I just push the rub strip against the fence and make the miter cut. After the miters are cut on the ends of all three pieces, there's one last cut to make, and that's this little rabbet that allows the joint to lock together. Now to make that cut, I've switched back to a rip blade that gives me a nice flat bottom cut, and I've also attached the rub strip to the end of the panel, and that'll protect the miter during the cut. Just push the rub strip against the fence and make the cut. Well, that completes the rabbeted miter, and there's just a few more steps on these panels before we can assemble them.
Well, Don, you got a good start on the joinery that connect the sides of the case to the top.
Right, well now we need some more joinery to join these web frames to support the drawers, but it actually holds the whole cabinet together.
And there's some considerations we need to take into account. The fact that the sides are solid wood and they're going to expand and contract.
Right, so we decided to use a very old-fashioned joint, a dovetail. This is actually a sliding dovetailed dado that goes across the side but stops short here on the front so that you don't see the end of the dado on the front edge of the side.
Now to connect the frames, we're going to start by creating a rail piece, and there's a dovetail that's cut on the end of that. Now that's just going to slide into that dado up here at the front, and then that'll get glued in place.
Then we need some more frame pieces to actually support the drawers.
Now those are a little bit different. They still have the dovetail, but it's along the edge here. And when that slides in place, it'll actually only be glued right here to the rail.
Well, all these pieces slide into place for assembly, but what it actually does is after assembly, it allows the sides, which are solid wood, to expand and contract along that web frame without cracking.
Well, the major part of that joint is the sliding dovetail and the sides, and I'm going to head to the bench and get started on those. Well, I've got a great start on cutting the joinery in the sides that Don completed earlier. That's just a matter of routing these dovetailed shaped dados across each side. Now, cutting these dados really starts with the layout, and that's the layout of the center lines. Now, all the drawers are different heights, so I started at the bottom, spaced those layout lines a little further apart here, and closer together at the top. I don't want the dovetails to show along the front edge of the sides, so to make sure I stop at the right point, I've marked stop lines at the end of each layout line. And once all the layout's complete, I'm ready to start routing the dados, and for that, I'm going to use a dovetail bit in my handheld router. Now I do need a way to guide the router, and for that I'm going to use this hinged edge guide. Now this thing is, you can take this edge of the guide and line it up with your layout line. Now what's unique is the distance from this edge to the center line of the hinge matches the distance from the center line of the bit to the edge of my router base plate. Now the way this works is I can flip this part of the guide out of the way and run my router against this edge. Now let me show you how that works here. I got a spare base plate. So when the base plate is running against the edge guide, you can see that the router will be cutting right along the center line of my layout line. Well, with the edge guide in place, I'm ready to start routing. Holding the router firmly against the edge guide, route across the side, ending at the stop line. Well, that takes care of one of the dados. Now I'll just repeat the process and complete the rest of the dados on this side. Well, after completing all the dados in each of the sides, I spent a little time at the table saw with a dado blade cutting a rabbet along the back edge, and that's for the back that's going to be added later. Now, all that's left to complete the sides is to give it the slant front look, and that's removing the waist at this top outer front corner. Now, I've already made my layout line, and I'll use a jigsaw to remove the waist. I'll make the cut, staying just outside the layout line. Well, after removing most of the waist on each side with a jigsaw, I'm ready to cut the sides to final shape. Now, I want them both to be identical, so to help with that, I've clamped together the sides so they're flush on all the edges. Now, I'll use a flush trim bit in my router to cut both sides at the same time. Now, to do that, I need a way to guide the router, so I'm going to use some double-sided tape and attach this straight edge right along one of my layout lines. Now, I'll be able to flip this over and remove the waist. With the bearing riding against the straight edge, I'll clean up both edges in a single pass. Well, that flush trim bit made quick work of removing the waist. Now I've got two identical sides ready for a shelf and some frames.
The sides are pretty well wrapped up, so I'm going to get started on the shelf along with some frames that divide the desk into the desk top as well as the drawer compartments.
Now, there's actually quite a bit going on here because the frames need to provide a solid connection but also allow the sides to move.
To do that, I'm going to create dovetails on the sides of the frame pieces that match the dados that Brian just routed. And I'm going to show you how this all comes together for a solid assembly. The inside of the desk is made up of 5 dividers that connect the sides. Now, the top divider is a shelf that's glued up from solid wood, and it actually forms part of the work surface of the desk. Below that are a series of frames for the lower dividers, and they're frames because only the front edge of the divider is going to be visible once the desk is complete. Now, the frames are made up of a front rail, a back rail, and a pair of drawer runners. These pieces are all connected with stub tenon and groove joinery, but they're not all glued together. Why, you might ask? It has to do with accommodating wood movement. Now, the solid wood sides, top, and shelf are all going to expand and contract with seasonal changes in humidity, but the frames won't, so we want to take that into account. So when it's assembled, the front rail is going to be glued so that it's flush with the front of the desk. Then the drawer runner comes in and slides together, and this joint is actually glued along with the first few inches of the drawer runner. Now, since the drawer runner isn't going to change in length, I'm going to leave the rest of it unglued. So then when I attach the back rail, it slides into place, and I'm going to glue that flush with the rabbet at the back of the desk. Now, you'll notice that there's a gap right here in this joint. That's going to allow the side to expand and contract without binding on the joinery of the frame. Connecting the frames to the sides involves completing the joinery that Brian started earlier. And that means cutting the dovetails on the ends of the shelves, on the ends of the rails, and along the edge of the drawer runners. And I can take care of that over at the router table. The tails are formed by routing a wedge-shaped tongue using the same dovetail bit that Brian used earlier. Routing the tails on the drawer runners is pretty simple. Just make a pass along one edge. Then flip the workpiece around to complete the tail. To provide support for routing the tails on the large shelf and the long rails, you'll notice I've been using a tall auxiliary fence that I've attached to the main router table fence. And then for smooth, tear-out-free cuts, I've created a zero-clearance opening around the bit. To learn how to create a zero-clearance fence for any router bit, just take a look at our Editor's Extra video on our website, woodsmithshop.com. Now, the tall fence makes it easy to support the large shelf, but when it comes to routing the tails on the long rails, I need a little bit of help. That's because these long, narrow rails can be a little wobbly, and it can be tough to keep it square to the fence. To make the routing easier, I made a simple push block to go with it. Now, the push block consists of a backer that stops the tear out on the back side of the workpiece. And there's also a plywood face on it to help me hold it firmly against the fence. Now I can route one face of the rail, then flip the piece around to complete the cut. Now all I have to do is complete routing the tails on all the other pieces, and then I'm ready to head back over to the bench and start assembly on the desk. Now, before all these frame pieces can get assembled into the sides of the desk, I needed to take care of one final detail, and that's to remove a portion of the tail on the front rails. And that's going to allow the front edge of the rails to be flush with the front edge of the desk sides.
And while Phil was doing that, I went ahead and made a slot mortise here in the bottom side of the top shelf and a matching mortise in this upper rail. And that's going to hold this vertical divider, like that.
Now these dividers are going to create a pocket for the door supports that are added later on.
Well, right now we're ready to start assembling this project, and that begins with gluing in this top shelf. Now we want to be kind of careful where we put the glue because we don't want it squeezing out all over the place.
Yeah, in fact, we don't even need to apply glue to the whole length of the dovetailed dado here. In fact, it's better if you just apply a little bit at the back of the joint, and then as you slide the shelf into place, the glue will get spread.
All right, let's get started.
Well, we have the shelf installed and glued into place in the sides. The next step is to start working on installing the frames, and here we're going to work from the bottom up. So I've already installed the lower front rail and have that glued in place so it's flush with the front edge of the desk.
The next step is to install the drawer guides. Now they fit into the dovetailed dados cut into the sides. You just slide them forward, and then they get glued into the front rail.
Now the bottom frame is a little bit different. It has a dust panel that slides into the frame here, and that seals off the bottom part of the desk.
And it fits into grooves in the drawer rails and goes forward, just like that. Once the dust panel's in place, we can go ahead and install the back rail, and then we'll just install the rest of the frames on the way up. Now we've got the lower frames installed, and we've moved on to the top frame. Now it goes together just a little bit differently because it has slot mortises cut in it to accept those vertical dividers we talked about earlier.
And these vertical dividers need to be installed before you can install the drawer runners. So just slide them into place.
And once those are in place, you can push the drawer runner in, just like that.
From there you can add the back rail just like we've done with all the other frames. And once that's in place, then we can add the top.
Now the top is a solid wood panel that's been mitered on the ends to fit in between the sides. Then we can just glue and clamp it in place.
And with that, the case of the desk is wrapped up.
Well, you and Phil got a good start on the overall assembly, but there's still a few things to do.
Yeah, for starters, we need to raise this up off the floor, and for that, we're going to use some feet.
Right. Now, a case like this needs some special feet, so we're using something called bracket feet. They have a profile along the front, and they're actually sculpted along the face. Now, most of that work I'll do at the table saw and the bandsaw.
Okay, if you take care of the feet, I'm going to take a look at the drawers and the drop-down door.
Now, the bracket feet on the desk give it a very traditional look, and there's a lot of woodworking that goes on into making bracket feet. Now, it really starts with cutting the shape profile along the faces of the pieces. After that, you're going to spend a little time cutting a scallop profile along the ends. Finally, you're going to join the pieces with a miter and then reinforce everything with a spline. Now, the best bracket feet actually have the grain pattern wrapping around the feet. Gives it a really good look. So instead of working on the pieces individually, what I'm going to do is cut them out of a blank. So I've glued up a blank. Now it's extra wide and it's extra long. Now the first step is actually cutting this shallow cove here on the front of the blank. And I'm going to do that by laying out a pattern on the end and then cutting it at the table saw. An angled fence clamped to the saw keeps the workpiece at the correct angle during the cut. I made a series of shallow passes until the cove was complete. Well, completing the cove is a great start on the shaping, but to smooth out the profile, I still need to remove some waste right here in the center. Using a dado blade and adjusting the rip fence, height, and angle, I'll make a series of passes to remove most of the waste. Well, with the initial shaping complete, the blank's ready to be cut to final width. The first pass establishes a foot at the bottom of the blank. A second pass brings it to final width. Well, with all the blanks cut to final width, there's one last key shaping step, and that's to round over this top outside corner. With the saw blade tilted to 45 degrees, I'll make a single pass right at the layout line. Well, with most of the waste removed, now it's just a matter of taking my block plane, knocking down the high spots, and then sanding everything smooth. Well, after smoothing out the profile on the blank, it's now ready to be cut into 2 pieces. I'll start by cutting the blank in half. Then, I'll miter the end of each piece. Finally, I'll cut a kerf for the spline. Although the 2 parts of the bracket bit are ready to be glued together, there's one last step to do, and that's cut this scallop profile on each piece. Now, I've used a template here to lay out the shape. I'll just repeat that on the other part, and then I'll head to the bandsaw and make the cut. Using a narrow blade, I'll make the cut right along the layout line and create the scallop profile. After spending a little time at the bandsaw, I was able to complete all of the scallop profiles here on the feet. Then I was able to glue things together, of course using the spline to reinforce that miter joint. Now, of course, I had to do a little sanding to make sure everything came together nice and even right along the miter joint line. Now, I've got a good start at installing the feet, and that's just a matter of installing cleats here at the top and then another pair here at the bottom. Now, there's only 1 foot at the bottom, so to help reinforce that, I've also installed a brace along the backside. Everything is glued and screwed in place. So I'm ready to install the last bracket foot here at the top, and just like the other ones, I'll glue and screw that through the cleats. All that's left after that is to dress things up a little bit. For that, I'll just add a little molding here at the front and along the sides, and everything on the base will be complete.
All the drawers in this project are put together with machine-cut, half-blind dovetail joints. Now, making this joint's pretty straightforward. All you need is a dovetail jig like this, a router, a bushing, and a dovetail bit. Now, the bushing keeps the router bits centered between the fingers of the jig as you route in and out. Now, all I have to do is route the rest of the pieces. When you get done doing the dovetails, you should have 4 dovetail pieces: a front, a back, and 2 sides. Now, there are some things that need to be done before you can start assembly. First off, there's a groove cut on the inside face of all 4 pieces, and that's going to accept the drawer bottom. And one other thing is that you want to go ahead and route a roundover with a shoulder on all 4 edges of the front piece. Now, one of the nice things about working with a dovetail joint like this is how nicely it goes together. The 2 pieces just fit together like that and interlock. All you have to do, tap them home a little bit, and you've got a very strong joint that looks really nice. Now I can go ahead and do the same thing on the rest of the pieces. After assembling the drawers, there's still a little bit of work that needs to be done before you can install them into the case. Now, to keep the drawers centered in the opening, I've installed some glides. Now, there's a glide installed here that will center the drawer from top to bottom, and another small glide on either side of the case that will allow the drawer to be centered from side to side. I've also gone ahead and installed some stop blocks here in the back. Now the drawer will contact the stops as it's pushed in and be positioned correctly here in the front. So all I've got left to do is install a couple more stop blocks, and then I can go ahead and screw the back in place. At this point, the back's installed, and I've just finished installing the door. Now, the door consists of 3 pieces, basically. There's a wide glued-up panel here in the center, and then to cover up the end grain, I've installed breadboard ends. Now, the door is attached to the cabinet with a couple of hinges that have been mortised in. And when the door is in the down position, it rests on a couple of supports. Now, there's also a rabbet around the outside edge that allows the door to fit inside the cabinet, and then you can just slide the supports out of the way.
Well, I hope you got a lot of good tips on today's show. And if you'd like to get more free tips and video tips from the editors of Woodsmith Magazine, just go to our website and sign up for the free weekly Woodsmith e-tip at woodsmithshop.com. Well, in today's show, we built this slant front desk. Now, the original design called for cubby holes here at the top, but you could leave this space open for more room for your computer, a printer, and all kinds of electronic gear. Well, classic furniture calls for classic joinery, and we started with a rabbeted miter here at the top. Then we added the frames with a sliding dovetail, put classic bracket feet down at the bottom, and use traditional half-blind dovetails for the drawers. Well, I hope you got a lot of good joinery tips on today's show. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time in the Woodsmith Shop.
If you'd like more shop tips like the ones you saw on today's show, just go to our website to sign up for free e-tips. Each week, you'll get an email tip from the editors of Woodsmith Magazine, and video tips too. Go to woodsmithshop.com to sign up. Would you like to see past episodes of the Woodsmith Shop? All past seasons are available on DVD, or you can watch them online on your computer, tablet, or other mobile devices. Just visit woodsmithshop.com to learn more. And while you're there, you can sign up for free weekly Woodsmith e-tips and also receive a free preview issue of Woodsmith Magazine. Just visit woodsmithshop.com.
Major funding for the Woodsmith Shop has been provided by
Craig. From the first cut to the final assembly, providing woodworkers with products that help to simplify woodworking challenges. Craig.
Additional funding provided by
Powermatic, for more than 90 years, has been making woodworking machinery that is engineered to perform. Powermatic, the gold standard since 1921.
and by Old Masters, a legacy of craftsman quality stains and finishes.